You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's always a pleasure to be your host, and I am delighted to welcome this week's special guest. We've had him on a couple of shows over the past couple of years. We've finally got him on the West of Scotland show. It is the manager of the West of Scotland First Division League Leaders. It's a pleasure to welcome on the manager of Drumchapel United, Adam Hopes.
Thanks for having me, Scott. It is becoming an annual thing we've got going on here.
It's always good to get you on, Adam. It's especially good to get you on when you're doing well in the league. And I think to be leading the West of Scotland First Division, I think there's probably about 10 different managers that have done that this season. But at this time in the season, though, it's pivotal, and it kind of speaks to just how crazy the league is. But one thing that really catches your eye is Drumchapel have been very, very good this season. How do you kind of assess the season so far at the Drum?
We kept the nucleus of the squad for last season, and I have to say we've added very good additions to that. Obviously, it's Ryan Scully's first season at the club, who's been massive for us. We've signed Mark McNiff, who was playing in League Two last season. We've managed to get David Topkirk playing football again and in a good place. And we've had a couple of foreign boys and stuff like that are playing with us and been doing well. Jordan Love, Slick, I could keep going, but the additions that we've made have been great additions.
And I was going to obviously touch on that, obviously, kind of some of the players you've brought in. It's obviously been a bit of a kind of change in, kind of, as you say, keeping a nucleus, but also kind of big players come in. One player that's come in and made a real difference is James Marks, obviously one of the top goal scorers in the league. How important has he been to your kind of season so far, and how important is it going to be for the rest of the season?
Slick, listen, he's very well known at this level of football, and see, one thing I don't think anybody can question about Slick is the condition he's in and what he contributes for his age. And Slick won't mind me saying that because it's something that everybody talks about all the time. 41, still mobile, still trains twice a week, gives everything that he can, and he reminds me of me when I was like a wee guy when I played. Like, he just always wants to play and always wants to score, and you can't fault him for the thing, Scott. And he's obviously unfortunate. I think we went from November through to Mabel not that long ago. That was how long he went without any goals, and it was obviously out of the team for a wee bit. But he's found his shooting boots again, and he worked ever so hard against Kilburney last weekend. It was just unfortunate he never got on the score sheet, but he contributed to the win.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at the season and the kind of results in recent weeks, I'll look at that. I remember talking to somebody who was at the game against Petershill. I think it was 0-0 at half time and it finished 4-3 to Petershill. Like, that was as crazy a game as you'll probably get. But on from that, 5 wins and a draw, and it's put you in a really good place. And I just want to kind of touch on some of the results. Obviously, the 3-1 home win against Johnson Borough, and then a few days after that, obviously beating Ashfield 2-0 at home. And would you look at them as kind of 2 pivotal wins in the season so far?
Aye, we'll see the spell you're talking about, Scott. I remember saying to myself, we had the Borough at home, Ashfield at home, then Blantyre away.
Yeah, that's right.
I always said to myself, and the rest of the coaches win ourselves, see if we take 7 points for the 3 games, we're laughing in regards to the point of the season we're at and all the games that were round about us. And listen, I don't think anybody can argue we're by far the better team against the Borough. Excuse me, we conceded a penalty in like the 87th minute, which was frustrating because one thing that we've done this season well is we've been good defensively. Obviously, we're an attacking team. We've had to go a wee bit more direct this season just because of the places that we've been and stuff like that. But to concede a penalty was obviously a wee bit harsh because we'd done so well. 3-0 would have been, listen, 3 points was 3 points, but just being a wee bit greedy, the 3-0 would have been nice. Obviously, we managed to keep a clean sheet against Ashfield, and then the disappointing thing for me in the 3 games was the first half against Blantyre. Everybody knew what we were going to, what the pitch was going to be like, what Blantyre's got to offer, and I just felt that we weren't really at it in any way, shape or form. Body language and stuff like that wasn't great, but to leave with something, we're delighted in the end up.
And obviously we say this all the time, and I'm sure you'll agree, obviously been in the thick of it, the league is just insane, until like just looking at every week you look at some of the results and you just look at the table. I mean, we're still 8th of April, and it's going to be another month. It's going to be one of those leagues that's just going to go to the last day. And I think like obviously you're sitting in the kind of driving seat now, but any team who wins that league, they have to like put their socks down and dig deep. It's such a competitive league.
It is, and you'll probably not get many views with this show because people will be fed up listening to me. I say the same stuff all the time, Scott, but it's genuinely the truth. Like, you just can't predict what's going to happen.
No.
If they keep saying to me that we've won the league and all this and that and the next thing, and I don't really want to hear that. Like, as much as I want us to win the league and all the boys want to win the league, football doesn't work like that. But I'm sure if we apply ourselves in the right manner and keep the game by game mentality, we'll have a chance. I'll say that.
And like, there are obviously teams in the league, and one thing that jumps out is obviously there's a lot of teams with a lot of games left to play, and like it's very difficult to go on a run in this league. And I'm looking at the likes of Shotts. Obviously, they've still 11 games left to play. Johnson have 9, St Roch's have 8. Like, being in your position, obviously, like Drumchapel have got 7 and have the points on the board. Like, are you looking at sides like Shotts going like they can go on a run, or like how are you kind of assessing like sides below who have got a lot of football left to play and can still get close, because it's just so tight, but there's a lot of football, and that sometimes always isn't a good thing. Like if you're playing like what we're going to see now with Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, that can catch up in a lot of players. So how do you kind of look at that kind of side of it? Like, would you rather have the points on the board, or would you rather have the kind of target to go and hit?
I would personally rather the position we're in just now, 100%. Okay. With under the circumstances with the league that we're in, the way the results and stuff like that go, and I just think the Borough's got a wee break in between with the Scottish Cup. I think it's important if they beat Thornleywood on Wednesday night, because it means they're going into their 2-legged Scottish Cup semi-final in a decent place. Shotts, I mean, I wouldn't like what they've got. Like, I thought we were hard done by last season. We probably want to watch in regards to what Shotts are experiencing now, because we've got an artificial pitch and we managed to get all our games on as such. But Shotts have got a right tough run in, and they've got the chance of getting to the final of the West as well, which is just going to add to their problems. But see, to get success, these problems come. And it was us last season. We got the quarters of the West, last to the Scottish final of the South. We led the title race for a long period the last season, and then just everything caught up with us, and look what happened to us last season. So it was in the back burner this season. The West and the South were just going to kind of what will be. They weren't really a priority, whereas last season everything was a priority, because we just we're on cloud 9 with the Scottish Cup run that we're on. We were sitting top of the league through that period of time. Everything was good. There was cups there to go and compete in. We've done that. And obviously, at the end up, we didn't really get what we wanted, and that was a promotion. So, for last season's experience, I'd much rather be in the position we're in just now.
And you mentioned obviously with the kind of club as well, and it's a club that's obviously kind of made a rapid rise over the past few years. Like, what is it? How impressed are you kind of now with the kind of way the club's going in terms of obviously the stadium, what you are trying to do? Obviously, that you tasted the kind of Scottish Cup last season. Like, how are you kind of looking forward, and kind of like if you obviously get into the kind of Premier Division next season?
Aye, so obviously, see the best thing, obviously, about our club is the boys that we've got in that changing room. And it might sound like the old cliche, right? But it's genuinely not. Like, all our boys are good boys, and they see, as long as we try our best with them, they respect that, and we get the best out of them. There's been that many things happening off the pitch, like daft things, like for an hour on a Tuesday and a Thursday, we've got a sevens pitch, and we don't get half a pitch till like 8 till 9. Now that's a sore head, and for where we want to be as a club, it's just not good enough, I'm afraid. We've had our ups and downs with the development of the Donald duo, but the good news on that side of the coin is we've just had a base built for a snack van, which I'm led to believe is ready to go in like now. So by the weekend when we come to play Whitlets, the snack van could be in. And we've also had the green light to get our terraces in. But so see, once we get the 2 terraces in, which we will have, I think we just need to get a tannoy, and then I think we might be in a position to apply for a licence. So, which would mean we can maybe look at getting into the Junior Cup and withdrawing from Strathclyde, because we won't need to be in that to get into the Big Scottish. So everything in that off the pitch is moving in the right direction, and things are moving fast.
No, excellent. And as I say, I've been very impressed. Aye, but as I say, it's been a rapid 5 years though, in terms of like where you were. Obviously, like for being an amateur team to where you are now, I mean, it's just remarkable, and especially if you kind of go on and get promoted this season. But there was a lot of football called off this weekend, and I don't expect that to happen in April, but it shows you the weather we're having at the moment. And I sound like a really old guy there, but it's been weird to have a lot of games called off in April, but that's where we're at. But we did have some football to talk about, Adam. We'll start with the West of Scotland Cup. Pollock reached the final. They beat Auchinleck Talbot in penalties after a 2-2 draw at Beechwood. And I've got to take my hat off to Pollock, actually, because I said it last week, like, a couple of months ago, things didn't look good, and now they're in a West of Scotland final. They're really improving in the league. And I think we've got to tip our hat off to Maxie for how well he's done and just kind of steadying the ship, and there's something to look forward to now.
Definitely. I mean, Maxie's a manager that I speak to, and what he's went through, we'll put it this way, see what he's went through. I don't think he would have been expecting that when he was taking the Pollock job on at the start. And I actually feel sorry for him in the aspect that he's had to really chop that squad. I don't want to talk about things that's going on at other clubs, because that's not my place to say anything like that. But I think Maxie needs to give himself a pat in the back and his background team and our players, because I think they've only got like 18 players or something like that, and that's probably including 2 goalies. And I know he's been taking a couple of the kids for the 20s into the squad. So, and the other thing is, Maxie seems to have a good record against Talbot. I think he's probably a manager that Tucker doesn't really fancy coming up against, because I remember quite a lot of times he's went there with Rob Roy in the past and beat Talbot. And granted, it was a draw, but I think Pollock were down to 10 men, weren't they? And he go down to Talbot and win, get yourself finals, a massive achievement. So he's had to dig in at Pollock, but I think getting rewarded with a final and hopefully he can win it, then that'd be good for him and Pollock.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously they will play the winners of either Shotts and Darvel. I think that game is going to take place this Saturday. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what's going to... No, it won't, because of the cup final. It'll be... I think it's meant to be midweek. I think it's meant to be Tuesday.
Aye, I think it's a Tuesday before the final on the Sunday.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. So sorry, Darvel, but hopefully Shotts win that just to add to their fixture pile up.
We'll move into the Premier Division with 3 games. Let's start with Beath 4, Atherley 2. Hat-trick for Robbie Scullion for Beath. And I think Strain will be looking at that, obviously. That this was a kind of big weekend where obviously Auchinleck weren't playing, Darvel weren't playing. Obviously, both sides lost in midweek. Beath have kind of been kind of off and on lately. So to get that home win and for Robbie Scullion to score a hat-trick as well, I think Strain will be delighted with that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I said in the podcast I done the other week that I thought Talbot would win the league, but see part of me, I just want a licensed club to win the Premier and hopefully go up into the Lowlands League, because I just think like after 3 years now, I think we've been on the go. Not one team for the West has went into the Lowlands League, and it's just putting a go slow in the pyramid. But in regards to Beef, they're probably going to take some stock. I think Talbot, since I said that, haven't won a game. So Beef have picked up 6 points since then. I think is it maybe 5 points between the two of them.
There's 7 points between Clydebank on 51, St Cadoc's 45, Beath 44. You've got Auchinleck 39, Darvel 38. So it's tight.
So it's 5 points between Beef and Talbot.
Yes.
And are they level in games?
Yes.
So there you go. Beef have got Beeville. I obviously contradicting myself a wee bit, Scott, but I can't be right all the time. But Beef, I've changed my mind. Beef are probably going to win the league.
I was going to get your thoughts on Clydebank. Obviously, 1-1 away to Hurlford. Nicky Little with a goal. They're in 28 games, right? They've got 51 points, so they're setting the target. They don't play another league game until the 4th of May, where they host St Cadoc's, and then they're away to Pollock on the 11th of May. So they've got a month. Now, it might be a case of with Clydebank, like in that time, obviously, they're going to have a lot more games. Like Auchinleck will probably have a lot more games, so it might be difficult for them to come back. But how on earth are they going to be able to keep those guys? I know they're going to play friendlies, but it's going to be difficult for those guys to come back after a month and play 2 more games, potentially winning a league. So I think that's going to be very, very tough for Gordon Moffat to get them motivated to go and do that. Not to say they won't, but it's really tough.
I thought obviously going back 3 months ago, I thought the Premier League was MD's, but if I was to pick MD back then, I remember saying to myself, I think the Bankies could do this. But just for having 2 games left, and how many times did Beeve and Talbot slip up? I know Talbot have obviously not picked up many points since I predicted they would win the league, but they're not going to be like that forever. Talbot will go on a run again and pick up points, and Beeve are doing exactly the same. St Cadoc's, they had a wee period where they dropped some silly points, but I just think it's too late for the Bankies. I genuinely do. I just think with Beeve and Talbot having the games and the momentum, that it might just be a wee bit too much for Clydebank to be crowned champions.
Final game in the Premier Division, Troon 2, Gartcairn 2. 2 sides, obviously. Gartcairn are 2 points ahead of Troon in 10. Troon are on 11th. Gartcairn will play a game less. 2 solid seasons, but I think if you ask both managers, they'll be saying we should be doing more this season.
I think so. Obviously, I don't know much about Troon, Scott. Gartcairn, however, I think they'll probably be a wee bit winded with the way their seasons went. And see, to be honest with you, I'm a bit surprised because I'm just saying, being honest, I wouldn't say Gartcairn last season were an amazing team in regards to playing football and all the rest of it. But what I will say is they were a well-oiled machine, and they were a very, very, very tough team to play against, and they were very, very good at what they've done. And I thought, obviously, them going into the Premier League, when you look at like St Cadoc's and where Ben Bob are sitting, and obviously with the investment Gartcairn's had, I really thought that at the turn of the year, Gartcairn would have really went and pushed and maybe had a say in what goes on at that end of the table, but it's not really worked out. And they'll certainly be looking to go and add fuel to the fire for next season, to go and really put a marker down for trying to win the Premier League. And Troon, obviously, I think Troon just need points, don't they? And that was a great point for them at the weekend, end up with the way things are down at the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move into the first division. We had 2 games, pivotal game, Johnson Borough 3, Ashfield 2, Conor McGlinchey, Ross McKenzie and Ali Small in the score sheet for Johnson, and Bobby Barry and Sean Stephen for Ashfield. Johnson obviously been a fairly good week, obviously 1-6-1 at home at Cambuslang on Wednesday night, and big 6 points for Johnson. What do you think? What do you think of Johnson? Obviously, like, how do you kind of assess them? Obviously, Jamie's gone. There's chat, obviously, of new managers and things like that. Like, it's going to be a fairly interesting end of the season. They've got a big game coming up in the Cup on Sunday. What do you think of Johnson Borough at the moment? Do you think they can do it? Do you think they're the kind of most likely out there kind of sides to go for promotion?
Well, I actually went to that game, Scott, on Saturday. And I thought the first 15 minutes probably was peachy. Ashfield missed a 1-on-1, the Borough missed a 1-on-1. But after the first 15 minutes, I kind of felt Ashfield fell out the game a wee bit, and the Borough kept asking questions at Ashfield without any real end product. But the second half, I thought the Borough were in control, and I left it 2-0. And by the time I got to my van, I heard a big cheer, and that was 3-0. And then I seen it ended 3-2. I didn't obviously see Ashfield getting any goals in that game, just for what I seen in the second half. But fair play to them, they've done it plenty of times this season. Ashfield, people think they're maybe down and out, and they've came back to either win or take something for the game. And by the sounds of it, they might have been unlucky not to do that. But in regards to the Borough, I think they could. I genuinely think they could go on that run that Jamie was saying. Jamie obviously said the other week in that the podcast we were on that there's bodies coming back and the squad will be in a good place. And he was under the assumption that the Borough will go on that run. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Borough go on that run and end up challenging for the title and promotion again.
And the other game, obviously, Kilburnie laid side 1, Thornleywood 1. Probably in terms of kind of solidity, like there's only 2 points separating. Thornleywood have played less games. Similar to Trunan Gartcairn, very solid season. I think Kilburnie probably would have thought they could have challenged a bit more, but they had a really difficult start. Thornleywood, I think, have done really well in recent weeks. And how you can assess those two sides?
Well, Kilburnie, I watched them play St Roch's the week before we played them. And to be honest with you, I don't think you could have really took anything for that game because the pitch was horrendous. What I will say is St Roch's was very, very good that day in regards to they went down to 10 men, I think, in the first 20 minutes. So they played 70 odd minutes with 10 men. And Kilburnie had a couple of glorious chances to win it, but the Rock held on and the Rock were well over their point. And then obviously we played Kilburnie the following week, and it was a different version of Kilburnie for the one that I watched the week before. They made it extremely tough for us. We weren't at our best, but we dug in and we got the 3 points. And I think that knocked Kilburnie off the run that they were on. I'm pretty sure Kilburnie were on a good run, unbeaten-wise, up until we'd beaten them. So they did have a tough start, and that's probably done them in a wee bit in regards to pushing at the right end of the table. And then Thornleywood, I'm looking forward to seeing how Thornleywood go because they've got a lot of games left and a lot of games at home, and they're another team that's in form. I couldn't tell you the last time Thornleywood had been beat. Maybe you can.
Probably. I don't think since Ross Forbes started playing. I think with Thornleywood. I'm just going to check here just now because I think I'm pretty sure Ross Forbes has won the 1-3. The last team to beat them was on the 13th of January, and it was Cambuslang.
Right.
That's been good going since then. Obviously, because they were in trouble for a while, and they've just get some points on the board. And Gobbs has done terrific there in recent weeks just to get them back into it because they're now solid. They weren't before then.
Well, Gomes is another manager that I speak to, and he seems quite happy and content.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't a few weeks ago. Like I don't know, a few months ago, it was. Maybe that's kind of exclusive news, but I think he was thinking he was maybe a lot lower than what he would have expected. So I think he'll be delighted where they are now.
I was going to say that obviously result-wise and league position-wise, maybe not, but see, like, as him within himself as a manager, and obviously the club's got big plans. Thornleywood.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it's a club that you should probably be excited to be about with things 100%. That are going to be happening the next couple of years. So 13th of January was the last time they beat. That's incredible in this league. So as I said, they've got a lot of games left. So this will really test Gorms and Thornleywood to see where they're really at going into these games and see where they go.
Yeah, absolutely. We had 4 games in the second division. We'll start with Vale Clyde 7, Craig Martin 0. Vale Clyde, that takes them up to second. Very, very good result. 4 goals for Paul Donaghy. Starting with Vale Clyde, first of all, very, very big result, especially with kind of Caledonian not getting anything out of their game. Big result for Vale Clyde, and obviously puts them in a really good position to get back-to-back promotions along with Ardrossan.
Yep, and it looks that way. I had to look at the tables, obviously, and it's Ardrossan's title to lose, isn't it? Yeah. I just can't. We played Ardrossan in the south, and listen, they were decent. They were decent. They came up to Donald Jordan. They beat us 3-2, I think. I was impressed with them, and I'll be very surprised if they don't go on to win the title. Vale Clyde, they've just put themselves right in it, and to be honest with you, I don't see them not getting out of the league either, and I think Cumbernaul's going to be the other one, but I feel sorry for Kev and the boys at Caledonian Locomotives, because they obviously don't pay a penny, really, to anyone at the team. Like, Kev's phoned me a few times asking for players and that, but not get any money. And I'm like, well, fair play to you, but they've done remarkable to be at that part of the table at this point. I mean, they obviously could still go up, but you'd really need the wheels to come off at other clubs, which at this stage I just don't see it. But Kilsyth as well, they're not a million miles away, but I think just with the games that's left and the quality that Cumbernauld, Vale Clyde and Ardrossan have got, I think that will probably be a 3.
Yeah, Cumbernauld obviously 1-4-1 away to Glasgow Perthshire, a double for John Cunningham and goals for Daniel Boyle and Michael Lowen. And they've got the games as well, just looking at their kind of games that's coming up. They play Muirkirk on Saturday, then they're away to Maryhill, away to Caledonian Locomotives. They've got, and then a kind of double bill against Wishaw in the last 2 games. I would tend to agree. I think Cumbernauld, with the games they've got and the quality they've got, I think Cumbernauld are rock solid to go up.
Aye, I think so. Excuse me. Aye, I think so. I'd say that's your 3: Ardrossan, Vale Clyde, Cumbernauld.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Big result for Maryhill, obviously beating Caledonian Locomotives 2-1 away from home, and it was a double for Connor Hamilton. And Mark Young will obviously be very happy, I think, with the season they've had as well. Very, very solid season, and sitting in 6th place. And probably that kind of, you've got the kind of top 5 who are obviously kind of cut higher, but Maryhill will be looking to kind of finish above the likes of Muirkirk and Yoker and things like that. I think Mark will be quite happy with this season.
I think so. I mean, Maryhill's a team I always keep an eye out for, because Tam Drew and the rest of the committee at Maryhill's been very accommodating. Was at Drumchapel. They've allowed us to use their pitch and all that kind of stuff, and they're good people. We've tried to help them with wee things and stuff like that as well. And obviously Ross Wilson was there before he went to Bonington, and Ross kind of re-galvanised Maryhill as such, because Maryhill had a terrible time for a while. Ross got them competing, and Marks went in and just basically continued for where it was, and I'm pretty sure he'll be a bit frustrated with things that's maybe happened with the squad and stuff like that throughout the season, but they're still picking up results, and that was a great result for them away to Cali, who are flying, especially up at Petershill.
Yeah. I meant to say as well, obviously, Ian Nixon has resigned as Craig Mark manager, so we wish Ian all the very best. And obviously, Craig Mark, I think, will be in a club that they're obviously just looking to get survival at this point, but obviously they'll be looking fast to get somebody in and try and just focus on the rest of the season, try to secure their safety.
I think Paul Gordon's taking charge.
Is he?
Season. Aye, so I'm sure PG will keep him in the league.
Some achievement as well. Obviously, Craig Mark. I think Craig Mark will be too big to be anywhere near a relegation fight. To be honest, I think they'll be fine. But I just think see
when they went in, I think they went in a crazy run. By the way, like 8 or 9 games.
Well, they obviously done. They got to the quarter final. Obviously lost to Talbot, but they went a really good run for a while. I just think the wheels going to fall off.
Obviously, I still speak to PG, and I remember that. I always check the result because of him leaving us to go to Craig Martin. I just kept seeing win. But I'm sure, listen, I don't think they'll get relegated. I genuinely don't.
We'll move into Bonington. You'll take a lot of encouragement for this, because that is the 4th week in a row that we've had our manager in the West of Scotland show, and they've won their next game. So keep that streak up, Adam. All right, so but Bonnet won 4-3 away to fourth. And we were speaking about that actually because fourth were in a really good run. And Bonnet, I think, needed it. And Gordon said that during the week when I was speaking to him as well. They just needed that win. And obviously, it kind of halts fourth's momentum a wee bit. And I think it all but secures safety for Bonnet.
Aye, I think so. I'd had a look and see the thing is that like, every single league is so tight in its own ways. Like I don't think you can. I think the first division is mad because mathematically there's still so many teams that could get promoted and win the title. But all the other divisions are the small margins between the teams.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a wild league. But we'll move on to the third division. That's tight as well. We'll start with Lanark. Very good run they're on at the moment. Beat Kello 2-0 at home. Kieran Brannan and Aaron Bullock with the goals. And I'm just looking here. Lanark, obviously, very good run they're on just now. I think they've won the last 5 and puts them in the driving seat for the title. And I think, obviously, the job Darrell's done there has to be commended. I think they've been really, really good this season.
They have. They definitely have. Lanark. Obviously, in the podcast again, I hadn't really checked the league table properly, and I know the Vale were sitting top for a while, and I know that Lanark and Bellshill had games to play and stuff like that. But
yeah,
when was the last time Lanark get beat?
I've got it here. So the last time Lanark get beat was they get beat by Shots in the league, and Les Mahago beat them away at home in the 3rd of February. So the last league defeat was the 3rd of February. So again, going and runs just makes a difference, doesn't it? Like that is
It does. I mean, if you're not losing games for a couple of months, then you're going to be at the right end, and they definitely deserve it. And that's another one. Lanark will probably go on to win it now, and the Vale will hopefully get promoted, and then you've got Fanart and Bellshill as well. It's another tight league. Scott,
Vale definitely. Vale leaving 1-2-1 at home to Irvin Vicks. Ross Cameron and Chris Jackson with the goals for them. You mentioned obviously Fanart, Bellshill. I know Threave obviously drew away at Greenock, but I would not rule out Threave potentially going on a run because I think the quality they've got, I think they could potentially be in the hunt as well.
Has Threave got games in hand?
Threave have played 23 games, so they're 9 points behind Vale leaving, and they've played 2 games less, but they've got 3 games in hand in Fanart, and they're 3 points behind it, and 7 points behind them. So I think Threave could be the one to keep an eye on in that league, to be honest.
Aye. Well, again, wouldn't surprise me. I didn't know that Threave had games in hand. I thought they were all like maybe 1 game in hand or something like that. But aye, Threave are definitely not out it.
I think it's between the top 5. Like top 5, I think they're all there, and obviously I wouldn't really like Les Mahago either. They're in a really good run as well. I just don't know if they'll have the points to really get there, but they've got the games. But no, it's again just another league that's very, very interesting. Down the bottom end, West Park drew with Ardea, 1-1. West Park won, Ardea won. Both sides will probably West Park, Ardea will probably be the happier of the 2 sides. West Park will have wanted 3 points. They'll have probably been desperate for 3 points, I would imagine.
Aye, definitely. I think West Park second bottom just now.
Yeah.
Many points away from the.
They are 8 points behind Ardea. And they've played the same amount of games.
Oh.
Aye, they're 8 points with safety. Aye, I think they could be in trouble.
Aye.
6 games left.
6 games. A lot can happen in 6 games, but it's not that, Scott. See when you're at that end of the table, but players are only human. It's not nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And see if you don't have the right characters in the changing room to get you up for it, get you through it, then you could be in a hiding to nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's something that obviously all these teams down the bottom end of the tables are going to need to try and galvanise themselves and look at their leaders to get them up for it and pull them out it and get them in a wee run.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 more games to talk about before we touch on the remaining games this week. Lugar won 4-0 away to Saltcoats in the 4th division. It obviously puts Lugar, they're sitting in 4th. They're within 2 points of Rossvale in 3rd with a game in hand. I've said for a while, I think Glenvale and Thorn will go up. I think it's between Rossvale, Lugan, and Giffnock for the other spot. I think it's quite tight, and I can't really split the three teams, to be honest.
Aye, I think Glenville will win it, and I agree with you with Thorn as well. It's just that third place in it. It's that third place who's going to get the best run. Have any of them still to play each other?
I don't think so. I'm not sure, mate, to be honest with you. Let me check. No, I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. And if there was, though, I think that would be pivotal.
If Rosvale have more home games than away games, I could see Rosvale picking up, getting a good wee run, because I know they like to get the ball down and play. And
Rossvale are at home to Cullook, away to BSC, and then home to East Kilbride Thistle, so they've got 2 home games out of 3.
But the away game to BSC, oh no, that's at Peterson Park, isn't it? I thought BSC played Nashville, but they don't. They're playing grass.
Lugan have got 3 games at home.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oof.
And let me just check Giffnock. Giffnock have 2 home games as well. Easterhouse, St Peters, and away to BSC. So, I mean, they've all got home games. I think it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I'm not even going to pretend to try and get a guess at that.
Aye, it's tough, and we do have some games this week on Wednesday. Just looking through the table, we don't have any games on Tuesday, I don't think, but Wednesday we have Cumnock play Hurlford, Johnson Borough play Thornwood, BSC play Thorn, and obviously the weekend we've got 2 fascinating junior cup ties, all involving West of Scotland sides. First leg, Auchinleck play Darvel on Friday night, and then Sunday, Arthurlie Johnson Borough. Good advert for the West of Scotland, obviously 4 sides in the semi-final, and it's going to be very, very exciting, and just another good advert for the West of Scotland.
It definitely is. And see, to be honest with you, in the Junior Cup, with the utmost respect, I don't really expect anything else, to be honest with you. I just think the teams that you've named, Borough, Arthurlie, Darvel, Talbot, they're 4 big, well-known teams that are obviously. Arthurlie won a league title a couple of years ago. Darvel won the league. Talbot, the most victorious team at this level in the last 10 years. And who's the other one? The Borough have obviously came from the ashes of junior football, and the 4 of them being in the semi-finals, a great advert for the level we're playing at. And then obviously Rob Roy as well, being in the final of the South.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's good, because it just shows you look at Rob Roy's league position, and they've got themselves in the final of that, which obviously is a big occasion as well. So, the West have done well with the cups.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll move into the games that are remaining for Drumchapel. Big game on Saturday, obviously home at Whitlets, and then just looking at the kind of games left. Away to Cambuslang, away to Neilston, away to 5 away games in a row, then end the season at home to Maybole. How important is it to get that win on Saturday, and then it's on your travels, try to get the points on the board? Like, how are you approaching the final 7 games?
Well, again, I sound like a broken record, but it's a game at a time. I just believe that we have that mentality about us now, and I think to be playing at the Jewel at this point is big for us, because we've not played at home since we played Ashfield in the Borough. That was a while ago. I think we've had 2-3 weeks since then as well, right enough. But I think just to go into the final run of games, to get one at the Jewel, and I'll be honest with you, I'm obviously looking at our next 3 games, because I think we've got 4 games in the last week of the season. So I believe that this will be our toughest game out the next 3, because Whitlett's a team I always speak highly of, and there's never been an easy game against Whitlett's. There's only been a goal in it any time we've played them, and they obviously play in a similar facility to us now as well. So listen, it'll be very, very difficult on Saturday, Scott. Very difficult, but we just need to go with the mentality that we've had, and hopefully get 3 points.
Yeah, well, as I say, Opie, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, mate, and we're wishing you all the best for the rest of the season. Thank you very much for joining me, mate, and best of luck.
No problem. Cheers, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, mate. Thanks very much. Very much tuned in, folks. Please join us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast channels. Thanks very much, folks. We'll see you soon. Thank you.